could look at is if you go down to the outlook cabin.
Wow.
Beautiful.
This is amazing. What's up, Boris, the 360 Pros here. We're at Predator Ridge, and tomorrow, in maybe 12 hours, we're going to be launching a 360 camera on a weather balloon to space. Why are we doing this here? I remember the first time driving through here and I just drove past and I'm like, what is this area? It looks epic. And they're like, it's Predator Ridge, and had this mysterious name. And I'm like, Predator Ridge, what is this? And then the more I learned about it, the more I looked it up and we drove through it. The landscape is just so fantastic. It's beautiful. It's one of the coolest places in BC. I'm always thinking of different ways to showcase what 360 video can do and show off different parts of BC or just different things that I think are interesting and exciting. And just the idea of combining GoPro footage or taking GoPros to space with weather balloons is something I've seen people do. And so the natural next step is to take a weather balloon and put a 360 video camera onto it. So it kind of clicked, like what better location to do it than here? You know, as the balloon lifts or as the camera lifts, people will feel like they'll feel like when you're watching 360 video, it feels like you're there. You have a more connection with an area. I find that 360 video just allows for the viewers to, even though they're not really walking and they're not choosing the direction that they're going, it's still an interactive experience. It just feels a little bit more emotionally connected. From a cell phone screen, being able to like look around like this, and then the view changes view as if they're like looking through like a window in time almost. But then especially in VR, when you're wearing a VR headset, it just feels like you're there. So just what better location than here, as the footage or as the viewer rises up, getting to see more and more of the location, then you'll be able to see the entire acreage come into shot. It goes up. It goes up fast. 5 meters a second.
Okay. Maybe like here?
Yeah, I think this is actually really good.
And there's not as much grass. I like it. I like it here.
Yeah.
We're not too close to the tree.
No.
I don't know why I'm nervous about it.
Well, because you're thinking of it like drone operations, and you know,
it's
when you're
not
flying
too
like
windy.
no, it's not windy at all.
Yeah.
It would have to be strong winds for it to get blown into those trees.
I love that yellow.
Yeah, this is a great launch location. All right, 7 a.m., just past 7 a.m. The sun's gonna be coming up pretty soon. Got the helium tank. That thing is about 150 pounds, so that's gonna carry everything. And we're gonna set the balloon up right now. So I'm just gonna tighten this guy up a little bit. So we just had an epic idea. Here's the balloon. Gotta use gloves. The safety line to make sure it doesn't come off. We got the helium tank here. We got the air nozzle here. And this is gonna supply helium to the balloon, which is down here. And we calculate the amount of lift with this scale here, which basically just tells me how hard it's pulling. And there's a parachute and the camera at the very bottom. It'll all make a lot more sense when you see it up in the air. Okay. in Kelowna now, on the way to, well, near Nelson, picking up the weather balloon. You know, the great thing is, the trajectory, or sorry, the landing location, it very much matches the initial estimated trajectory, which was half the distance of what I feared actually happened, because I had thought that I didn't put enough helium. Not enough helium means a slower ascent rate, which means it takes longer to get to the peak altitude. It'll actually go higher. It'll get blown with winds, and I was just dreading and dreading what that would look like. Put it in the predictor. It was like an 8-hour drive to God knows where. And then, but luckily tracking it on the GPS and seeing where it landed, it is half the distance. So it's really close to where we initially thought it was. Still a 4-hour drive, but very excited that we don't have to go that far. But if it's crazy to think about it, it's about 165 kilometers away from where you launched, and it's still a 4-hour drive. So, I mean, there you go with the Okanagan. Or no, I guess it's the Kootenays. Right? We've only been driving an hour so far.
So where is it then?
It is near Nelson. Most likely at some level in a tree, so that'll definitely be entertaining.
So it looks like from Vancouver to here, where we're going, it'll be about 1,000 kilometers.
It's crazy. So round trip of like 2,000 kilometers.
Yeah, yeah.
And all, never doing it before, in the hopes that we actually can recover this thing.
Yeah.
A bit outlandish.
And it's quite the trek from the road.
Yeah?
Yes.
How long does it look?
I have no idea.
It's hard to tell. Can you see the elevation?
It's on some kind of mountain.
So like the camera is what, like $900? Helium, something like $250. Balloon was another like $180 after shipping and taxes and everything. I guess it's kind of crazy, but so far I probably spent at least like $1,600-1,700 on all the equipment that could possibly be lost if we don't retrieve it, based on just this interest of wanting to see if do something that people just don't do, and show off and give a view of someplace that you don't normally see. And then even from the beginning, if you think about it, like having the one balloon, the one camera, one set of SD cards, one charger, one everything, one flight, like one app, one battery, and never doing it before. It's a bit optimistic for sure, but you know what? I've seen other people do similar things, so what's the difference? Like, why can't I do it?
I hope we find it.
Oh, we'll find it. We'll find it. I mean, it's there. The great thing is, like, we were able to track it. You can see on the app that it's there. We know the exact location. We know it's safe. Like, we know where it is. But yeah, getting to it is the other thing. Is there a route there? Oh,
I don't know. There's not.
I mean, like, does Google Maps show a route there?
No. And then you'd have to go up this mountain, this slope, which I'm not too sure how big it is. But if it's too big, we could always go stop before and go, and it looks flatter, and go through the valley here in between these two mountains.
I mean, look at the trees around here. They're kind of tall. It's so hard to tell what the terrain actually there is like, just based on Google Maps. But I mean, in the best case scenario, it fell in like a little sort of opening, or kind of hit the branches and it made its way down. But I mean, if it's at the top of a tree,
that would be great.
You ready to climb?
Do you think we're gonna find it?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely. We have to. Or what even drew me to capturing immersive media, or capturing, you know, spaces in 3D and why not regular photography or video? Why do I have this interest in making, like, recreating the world? And so I can think a little bit like, what did I do before? I worked in the film industry building film sets. I was using my hands to carve objects to make them look like other objects. Okay, I guess I have a knack for that. And when it comes to drawing, for me, it wasn't like I couldn't draw abstract and I couldn't draw from my imagination. But I love drawing from a photo or from another drawing or painting, or sometimes from like the real world, but usually from a photo, because I wanted to recreate that image as accurately as possible with pencil or whatever my drawing was. Like, I wanted to be able to take that moment and put it here in front of me, within like make it alive in a different way. So I guess I'm doing that now with a totally different kind of tool and creating a different product. Status update? Well, things are looking pretty grim. The closer we get here, the more harsh the terrain is, or at least appears to be. Now we're 15 minutes or less out and just looking at the mountain. And we know it's like 4 kilometers from the road, which, you know, if it was flat, that's one thing, but being here and now actually getting to see the elevations, that's a totally different ball game. So now it's basically at the point of, okay, let's scout it and see if it's possible to ever recover. That's pretty much as far as I'm at right now. Being there, we'll be able to see if there's like any access roads, service roads, logging roads. I mean, is it ATV-able? Is there hiking trails? Something we'll be able to tell when we're within the internet, which we are not. So when we do get close to the internet, we can also look up the mountains nearby and see if there are some hiking trails, and then it could just be, best case scenario, a plan for another day. Worst case scenario, some chipmunk has a pretty cool camera.
It's close to the dot.
And does it look like it's accessible, possibly?
Yeah, I don't know. Then there's this like line right here. I think it's a road. And it connects to, where are we? Oh, up here.
Here's the crazy thing. Sometimes naive optimism or blind optimism, whatever you want to call it, can pay off, and I want to knock on wood, but basically, the road that we thought was the end of like a highway, and then the start of what potentially could be like a logging road or just bushwhacking, was actually not the end of a road. So we've been on this logging road here for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but we're about a kilometer past where Google Maps said it would stop, and Jen found a higher resolution. Somehow Google Maps increased resolution the closer we got here, and Jen discovered a logging road which looks like it leads to 300 to 400 meters away from where the balloon is, as opposed to 5 kilometers, which is where Google said that is the furthest we can drive to. And this road is clearly, like, there's signs on it. It's labeled, like, that's crazy.
Okay, so this is where I thought the road could be, around here.
So after this bend?
No.
Oh, you mean this way?
Huh. This is just
a river.
A river.
Well, that optimism seems to have fallen short, but it looks like what we thought was possibly a road here is just, it's just a river. And yeah, this looks like it's as close as we can get. I mean, I see potentially some logging roads that go up way over and then maybe down, but without knowing the roads and yeah, there's just no really way to get there today, that's for sure. I don't know how well you can see up there, but that is basically an indication of it's time to turn around. That could be like another 4 kilometers or so. Well, you know, I mean, it's high, but it ain't that high. Oh, dude, yeah, there's no way. Like, look at this. Like, the best chance of getting there would be the closest possible access road and then like some miracle of like open clearing.
I think we should do this again.
Come back, or you want to launch another balloon?
Launch another balloon, but maybe not go as high?
Or just cross our fingers that it doesn't end up somewhere mountainous and dense and unobtainable.
And
like, look at this.
maybe...
I don't even know how to like look at it.
Or stick your hand through.
Yeah, like that's 5 feet. and then just imagine getting there, and then it's like, well, you know what? At the very top of one of these trees. Yeah. Well, I think the only chance is literally if these roads wind up and then kind of bring back. There's like some logging road way down there, which would literally be another day. Another day.
Or do this in like the prairies.
Yeah.
Where there's no mountains. It's just fields.
Mm-hmm. The other option would be to do it when the predictor says, you know, 20, 30 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or 10.
No.
Or 5.
Yeah. Let's do 5.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know, this is it. This is the point. We got to turn back. It's just too thick, too lush, too far. That's the thing. You know, sometimes you just got to take the risk, and sometimes you don't win, and when you do, it's epic. So I'd say it was definitely worth it. And if it was a different day, a different time, maybe a different place, we could have made it work. And you know, it's not over yet.